What's nice is all of it's been voted on,
Yep.
and the school department is receiving the requested amount that the school committee had approved and put forth in the budget way back in February. So that's the first time since I've been in this seat that we've been able to receive what we asked for.
Steve Sherlock here for Franklin Matters. Franklin Public Radio, available anywhere, anytime, in your browser. Yes, your browser, anywhere. WFPR.FM. And in the local Franklin, Mass. FM radio dial. Yeah, the dial or the knobs or the push buttons, you can preset it to 102.9. That's the number, so it's always ready for you. Here today in the municipal building in the school conference room with our school superintendent, Lucas Giguere. Lucas, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well today, Steve. How are you?
I'm still recovering from the weekend. It was rather warm, and then it was sunny yesterday.
Yes.
It was much breezier at the kickball tournament.
It was.
So, it's all goodness.
I'm with you. I definitely have a little bit of a sunburn. I wasn't prepared, but
yeah.
it was a very good event yesterday. We had a great time. I thought it was great to have everybody come together who showed up for the community.
Absolutely. 8 full teams. I haven't figured out who the brackets are, but stay tuned. I'm sure they'll do a press release to figure out which winning teams there were. But
right.
There were pretty competitive games.
Those were very competitive games, I thought. Just watching people leg it out to first base after a kick and diving for balls in the outfield, and it was a lot of fun.
Catching a ball and then rolling and keeping it.
There was some impressive athletic moves from some people out there that are our age that I was impressed. I don't know that I could have made those plays.
And Colin, Boisvert, you've joined us today. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good to be here with you.
Excellent. So, end of school year, way to go.
The days were long, but the year was short. I feel like, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, here we are. It's exciting. I think I don't keep count, but students tend to remind me, my own particularly.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's 8 days left.
8 days left.
8 days of school left.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah.
Getting to the end here, Steve. And
7 for the kindergartners, because they go early, right?
This is true.
Yeah.
And, 8 years left to the first year that we landed and reorganized after talking and planning and communicating for 2 years to have now lived the year in totality.
Year.
I'm looking forward to a little bit of a reflective break
Sure.
to kind of take in what worked, what didn't, but it's just exciting. It's an exciting time for us.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you coordinate that with your pre-planning session
Yes.
that you bring in the school administration folks across the district.
This will be the 5th annual Franklin Public Schools administrative, we call it a pre-treat because we have an administrative retreat in August every year.
End of the summer, before
this will be
school.
the 5th time that we do this, and basically we'll bring together all department heads, all school leaders, principals, assistant principals, directors, and district office admin, and come together to just do really 4 main things. We're excited to, 1, reconnect as a team after kind of everyone over the summer admin retreat, we're all moving on, here's our goals, but then you really get into your schools and you're working every day within your own buildings. So reconnecting as a team, sharing any updates that we have regarding the summer plans and whatnot. The next is really setting the stage for next year. It's going to be a huge one. So,
Right.
and then we have some other information that we need to just parse out as we go. So we're excited for
Make
that.
sure everybody's on the same page, getting going, and then during your retreat, preparing for that next school year, which September's going to be here before we know.
Exactly. So the more we can get done now, the better off we'll be prepared. And we've created a good rhythm. I think people know what to expect, and it's helped us for planning.
And one of the last meetings, the school committee gave you your evaluation, which respectfully also covers the entire school performance, because you don't do it alone. Certainly you're the lead, but yeah.
Right. So yes, there were some really good recommendations in there. I thought that the evaluation really captured the work that I do, but also, I said this that night, it's really a reflection, as you've already referenced, to the work of everyone who works for Franklin Public Schools. I just happen to be the person in the superintendent role. But ultimately, the recommendations were practical. I thought that the commendations were appreciated. I thought that my work that I do, that I lead, and the work of the district was recognized in many ways. So it gave us a really good roadmap to kind of build off, as an evaluation should. Talk about what you're doing well, where you can make improvements, and then ultimately we're going to really work on those things. So there's really four main areas. One was around how do we continue to improve upon family engagement, right? Creative ways to receive and share information.
Sure.
Another area is around keep building off of our systems and really working through kind of how we are set up. We lived it the way we planned it, but now that you've actually gone through the motions, there's always opportunities to say, hey, did this serve us well? Did this work?
Right.
The third is really around student connectedness. That's a goal no matter what, is really how are we making sure students belong, feel like they belong, have opportunities to connect with one another inside and outside the classroom across all of our schools. And then finally, the last thing I'd say is just looking at measurable impacts to the instructional initiatives that we have in place that we're implementing. So I think you're going to see next year a theme around kind of measurement. How are we actually measuring this quantitatively?
Right. Yeah, a little bit more metric oriented, I think, was some of the feedback that some of the school committee members are looking for. Okay, you said you did this, we've seen this, but what was the measurements? Are you where you thought you were going to be? And how do you do that? And sometimes that's hard.
Yeah.
That may be the hardest part, because if you don't already have the measure that is realistic and something that's data capture along the way, then it's extra work to do that, which under resource constraints and in a moving environment like educational environment, how do you do that?
And this year we didn't have strong baseline data because we had shifted students from previous school buildings, 5 elementaries into 4. Administrators, teachers, everyone was kind of uprooted, stand up off the table and then sit back down, So with that in mind, with that visual in mind, it's like now we've lived a year, we have a better baseline of these groups of people together. The data hopefully begins to help us build out and have better criteria to measure off of.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Because I think you've talked in terms of your systems approach and systems orientation, and clearly, I think even as reflected in the budget, you came in with the 2.5% staying at the same head count, but you made some minor tweaks in the head count based upon what you saw, that based on clearly the prior budget, which required some additional cuts, you wanted a couple of people, but you only got one. Now, having lived it, as you've said, some of those positions you really needed to bring back, and some others, may not so as much.
And when we set out the budget, as now the town council voted on the final budget for not just the operating but capital and the Community Preservation Act requests.
Right.
So what's nice is all of it's been voted on, and the school department is receiving the requested amount that the school committee had approved and put forth in the budget way back in February. So that's the first time since I've been in this seat that we've been able to receive what we asked for. I also will say a credit to the district. I do feel like we hit a financial target that I can't say we'll always be able to be at 2.5%. It came on the heels of a major reorg, and without getting into numbers or whatnot, I feel as though we really tried to set ourselves up to protect the core programming we designed and implemented, and also maintain the level of services for students, making adjustments within. So your point is well taken around, hey, the same amount of people, we had to tweak a few roles, this is where we're at, and we're going into next year now, not dealing with budget reiterations, revotes, reclassifications, monies being shifted in different
to hire
ways.
A whole set of new people to fill in positions that potentially had been cut, but now there's no cuts.
It was like August 6th, I think, last year before we had a final budget, which was like right up on the heels of getting into school. So I feel like we can go into the summer now knowing what we have, and making sure that we're filling positions, we're planning ahead. So that's our focus versus how we've had to spend a lot of time in previous 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
Longer than that, actually.
Longer than that, to a
that's
certain
true.
extent, absolutely, because you've had a number of adjustments, if not physical cuts, across that anyway. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the one key point I'll make for the listeners, that at least in my perspective, between the FinCom and Town Council, this is the first time that even though some number of both of those bodies figured that there were some things that they could cut, they validated the budget.
Yeah.
because there were very minor tweaks within both lines.
Yes.
So the budget as proposed effectively came out validated, and that in itself, I think, should help the town, the community going forward, right? Because there is no more to cut.
Right. There is
Now
not.
the council and the FinCom and school committee is going to have to get together and do that strategic plan. Okay, now that we've got the level set, which is what we wanted, it buys us some time a little bit because you used a little bit of free cash. How are we going to generate the revenue so we can get out of this deficit
Right.
structural piece? So,
Correct. I couldn't agree more. So I think stability is the name of the game. We have work to do structurally, but certainly we've stabilized this round with obviously an eye on the future for how we continue to be fiscally responsible. And I'm hoping, I have to feel a bit of the response I've received from elected officials and the public. I feel like we're continuing to garner some public trust around how we build things, why we need what we need, transparency around the numbers and whatnot. I think we'll continue to do that for the betterment of our community and ultimately for the students that we educate.
then hopefully you can go into a year with developing a single budget as opposed to 4 or 2
Yes.
that you've done in prior ones.
wonderful.
Never mind zero-based budgeting to begin with. But summertime is also for projects. So you've, by plan, clearly based on the redistricting, you had some key things you needed to do to get the schools open in last September. Now you've got kind of phase 2, which some of which has been funded fully, some of which is still kind of, coming along the way, but you've got a bunch of work coming up this summer.
Absolutely. We get a lot of really exciting projects this summer. Last summer was really focused on the reorganization.
Moves.
And moves. 356 rooms, offices, spaces moved. A whole lot of logistical things in addition to projects for last summer. So it'll be nice to have a little bit more bandwidth within our facilities department to be able to complete these projects that are skewed for this summer. So some of the larger ones that we're excited about are the Lincoln Street courtyard surfacing. They're going to get a boom crane in to that building. We're going to during the reorganization, we had gotten a playground that was falling apart and it was aging removed, and this summer we're able to take out that surfacing and get a nice fresh surface in for that space to be more safe and usable by the student community there.
The boom crane is going to attract some attention, so if you give us some pre-alerts, I'm sure there'll be a crowd coming to look and see what's happening.
If the kids were in session, it would be very distracting.
Absolutely. There's a few facilities projects going on at each building. At Washington Street, there's a chiller compressor replacement, some boiler maintenance. The high school is going to have a chiller replacement as well. And exciting at Washington Street as well as the kitchen walk-in freezer and fridge rebuild. So they're going to take the walk-in coolers in the kitchen down to the studs and rebuild them. It'll be more energy efficient and more up-to-date to service the students.
How was that project funded?
That project's funded by the Food Service Department revolving account. So food services has invested over $1 million into equipment and facilities repairs over the last 3 or 4 years. This project, again, is utilizing that money, which is not part of the operating budget for town or schools. It's money generated from the sale of meals for the students, and its purpose is to maintain the food service department's mission and assets as well. And this is a perfect way to utilize that fund.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the project like that, if the food service department couldn't afford it, would be a capital request, and this is a great way to defer that.
Yeah, instead of sitting in the line of other capital requests, this can get done in a more timely fashion so that the food service people and process can continue to deliver. And I think even just recently you had another one, I think it was Wicklow Farms, where you did, 3,900 meatballs from fresh farm meat.
Yeah, definitely can support some of the fresh local stuff that we're implementing into the menus at the schools.
Yeah.
Shout out to Colin. I know he wears many hats, but his food service leadership planning, he He's exceptional, and I think that department works really hard to be ahead. And I get calls from superintendents all the time. One they've asked, like, can Colin connect with my new hire? Can we please work together on different projects, because he's just ahead of the game, and the work he's done to build partnerships within the community around produce and meat and fish and seafood and all aspects of the building, I think have been just an asset to Franklin. And then when you tie it in with the projects that he's naming, and there's a few more I'm sure he'll get to, it's just we're fortunate to have someone in a very unique role with a unique skill set to help build out our team.
Well, I think based on the systems piece, I'll reinforce kind of the planning. If I remember, you've already planned at this point kind of the menu for the year, which allows you to do some of that planning from the sources, whether it's Wicklow or fish or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah. So procurement in our world takes time. There's a whole process to it. And if we work hard to make a plan before the end of the school year, we can spend the summer sourcing it from where we want to. We can create those relationships. We can get the procurement process done, and we can make sure that it all fits our budget, and that the product is available and set aside for us.
Or have to run out to the store at the last minute to say, oh, we need this for tomorrow.
No.
It's like, nope.
No, we prioritize obviously the sources that we're interested locally, and including a farm that provides organic produce throughout the year for us as well.
Right.
Can you just, I don't want to, but I just think, I always have this example in my mind, Colin, where it's like, we think about, we need to order carrots. You're at the point where you're so prepared, you're actually telling the farmer, we need you to grow these. So can you just talk through, we're really ahead in Franklin, because that's not common.
I'm sure.
So can you just talk about that for us?
This actually happened a few years ago. One of the farms that we worked with had said, if you want to work with us on potentially planning how we can grow for you, we would do that. So we spent the next year, again, making our menus for the year and working with them closely on, okay, well, what month is it? What can we offer that you can grow, and what is the quantity that we need? So a lot of forecasting, a lot of planning, and we were able to plan to get a whole bunch of different products from this farm. One of the more exciting ones was spring asparagus. They were able to grow exactly what we were looking for, source it exactly at the time they needed to, and get it to us in the quantity specifically for us.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
definitely. A win-win.
Yeah. You hit on elementary. Do you want to talk about middle? Did you hit on the
projects?
library?
No. So we do have a few other projects that are kind of in process right now. So at the middle school, combination of fundings, the auditorium is looking at some work right now. We're really fortunate to be partnering with our boosters, and they are doing a great job fundraising for this project. There's also an earmark that was awarded to us, which is a competitive award for this project as well. And we are working within the town right now and other sources to potentially get the funding needed to get through our phase 1 for our auditorium project, which would fix the lighting that is there and update it with LED fixtures. And we're looking at doing some targeted seating repairs and potentially a new curtain in that space. And it's an exciting project.
It's exciting, and what we appreciate, I think, the partnership with the boosters and their fundraising for their campaign, which includes some of the items. But there are other items on our list for the facilities itself that we are looking at using some of the earmark funding to help support as well. So between lighting and some of the other pieces. And then the town, if you were at the budget hearings, you heard there was some discussions around how to help. How to help with that project. So we are now honing in on what can we afford, what could it be applied to fix and get us in better shape. So that's an exciting one. And then the library.
Another one at the middle school is looking at the library space. We were fortunate enough to get a grant award, which we were working through. The the administration at the middle school is doing some staff and student engagement to look at kind of how that space should be designed and what features it should have. We'll be able to then work with the organization that awarded us the grant to actually put that design on paper and look at project scope from there. So that's kind of where we're at with that, but again, a very exciting project as well.
Yeah, and I remember last year, Ms. O'Leary had Meet Me in the middle school reading program, and I've just seen there's a new set, and it looks like about 10 books as opposed to six books. So I think they still have to read one, but they got a wider choice.
Yes, they do. They do.
This year for what they can read, and tied to America's 250, which is appropriate. We're celebrating this year, so yeah.
It's great. I think the School Library Innovation Commons, this grant is going to really help us. So we're taking earmark funds, not from our operational budget, from Jeff Roy, our state rep, who was able to secure those funds, and it's in process, but moving along confidently to happen. I'm pretty confident that happens, and we're just going to be able to redesign that space. And people, shout out to Miss O'Leary for the work she does, but also there are other folks that'll be involved in that design process. So that's an exciting one. And Senator Roush, we should give a shout out for the money, the earmark funding for the lighting purposes of the lighting at the middle school auditorium and the playgrounds at the elementary school. The money that we're using this summer to do that project Colin referenced is actually earmarked from 2025.
Right.
We received an additional earmark in 2026 now to say, now that you've fixed the surface, can you outfit it with educationally appropriate, age appropriate type learning, outdoor learning environment types items that support the K-2 students that would use that courtyard.
Right, definitely. And between the music boosters and the high school theater company boosters, those two booster groups coordinating, collaborating.
It's amazing that they've really worked hard to come together, and we're excited, and the contributions that they've received in a short notice from a small amount of people. There's some donor matching we've heard about. There's some things going on. I think we want to get to the point where we are able to work between the earmark, the schools in the town to supplement what we need to finish the project so they don't have to keep fundraising. That's the goal, but ultimately it's not lost on us the what they've done to help us move this along.
I stopped at the theater company booth at the Strawberry Stroll, and that was exciting in itself because clearly the seniors have graduated, and now there's a rising group that's taking over, and they recognized me because I had done work with the other group, and they're saying, yes, we'll do something, yes, we will. So that was definitely exciting. I appreciated their enthusiasm. Looking forward to that.
Another project that will be upcoming, and the first few steps of it is getting an OPM on board for the Washington Street School. So right after school ends, they're going to be doing a walkthrough with prospective OPMs as part of the process for awarding one. So that will result in a bigger project in a few years for that school in giving it significant updates and upgrades.
Yeah, and that's something that's been talked of, at least for my reference, for multiple years. It was coming, now it's finally here. And OPM, owner project manager, is required for any state contract or contract with a value more than $1 million.
Yes.
And in this case, it's going to be more than that. So thereby, the town's going through the process to identify that owner project manager, OPM, which then leads the rest of the design review, qualifications, bids, in coordination with procurement, et cetera, to make things happen in coordination with you and the facilities group, et cetera. So, that's the keystone into the rest of the process.
And all of that work and the costs are cheaper than building a brand new school. That school actually received a design award. I found there's a plaque up in the school around that at that time. But also that school on those grounds, it's really purpose built, and I think we want to reinvest in that type of facility for our students to learn in. And obviously, there's things that we'd want to look to either replace, upgrade, improve, but ultimately the bones there are something that we're committed to as an asset in Franklin for one of our schools. So it's due. 96.
While we're talking one building, it was really two at one point in terms of functionality between an elementary and a middle school, and now it's just an elementary, and
It's an elementary complex. But
Complex.
yes, there's a K to 2 and a 3 to 5 because you have 500 kids on each side.
Correct.
But a little less. But ultimately, yeah, you're right. It is one elementary complex. So a parent and a student get a K through 5 experience
right.
on those grounds. So you're going to the same place. You're not jumping around town a million transitions. So that didn't change for folks. The location did for some.
Right.
But your point is well taken. But now you have a K to 2 and a 3 to 5, and it's how we set the model up. You know.
And last year was focused on raising and or lowering the boards because the middle school students are taller than the elementary school students, and now you've got some additional tweaks to make in that space as well.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And the CPA was the committee. I'm very thankful for their voting to approve our projects and going through FinCom and then Town Council. We have a few projects that are going to be funded through the CPA. We have the FHS will have the tennis courts resurface and paint will come. Looking at the track repairs as well at Franklin High School, and at Washington Street, the basketball court will get some resurfacing as well. That's been on a long list for many years for DPW, so we're all excited to get those. Additionally, there'll be some playground work that happens at ECDC Oak and ECDC Pond to just enhance the condition and safety.
Right. Good. Yeah, because high school opened in 2014, so it's already 12 years.
Absolutely.
And the track and the tennis courts, et cetera, maybe minor touches, but nothing really redone. So
nothing major, and DPW has put a lot of work, or has put work into other areas of the fields, and they just replaced the padding on the turf field.
Sure.
So this is sort of next in line for them as far as just maintenance and kind of keeping the repair, keeping everything in proper condition, and just kind of deferring any major costs because this will just get worse and would be a more expensive project if not.
And as long as it's high quality, then as part of the Hockomock League, you could run the Hockomock Championships, which you've done from time to time, which also generates some additional revenue to the site because of the outside use of that facility as well, which is from a revenue perspective is all a good thing. So that's the list of projects. That's plenty. I'm just tired just listening.
There's a lot going on. Right. There's some smaller projects or projects that are kind of behind the scenes and not really significant. But it'll be a busy summer. It'll be a productive summer, and we're excited to get the work going. So.
And in summer, it's really 8 weeks.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
9,
quick.
depending upon how you count it. But yeah, it's still a lot to get accomplished in a short time period.
And I just would say we're in a place now where every year, I sent an email to admin saying every year we've been doing this, we've had to wait until the budget was finalized, an override passed or failed, or a host of reasons and circumstances that had us kind of in limbo. So this year with it finalized, open positions, people resigning and replacement, like all the things that I might have been a little more conservative around, hey, let's hold off until we have all the details.
Yeah.
We're in a really good place where we're hiring. So one of the thoughts was to just put a plug out there that there are open positions within the Franklin Public Schools. We encourage people to go to our website to look at those listings. If you feel as though you're qualified for them, we welcome people to apply. And we're looking to field our team and do it as soon as we can so that it's just another piece of the planning down. So I just wanted to put a plug out for us to say that because that was one of the goals that I had in mind when we first booked the meeting.
Yeah. And I think from prior meetings, et cetera, clearly you also need not just, with all due respect, not just the qualified teachers in certain certifications, but the educational assistants, the substitutes, those are still required as well. And you've had some opportunities, say, trying to fill those and keep those full.
Yeah, that's a good point. Most people might think when they think of a school, they think of just teachers, but there's so many different types of roles and qualifications out there for folks who want to either be an interventionist, work in the cafeteria, work, in a variety of roles that we have. So thank you for saying that, Steve, because that's important.
the year end. School is done, almost. T-8, as we mentioned. And if I recall, it was about a year ago, we sat and Town Administrator Jamie Helen was here. We were talking kind of what you were going to do in the summer for, some concerts that were on your list, concerts that were on Jamie's list, and respectfully, you were so busy this year, we didn't get a chance to sit until now.
I know.
Do you remember what concerts you went to last year?
I went to the Lumineers. I think I mentioned that at Fenway.
Okay.
Which was excellent.
Excellent.
And it was a Friday night before I went on a family vacation on Saturday.
Ooh.
So it was a sweet little run there. I can think back on that fondly. That took a period of time. But it was a great concert, and we had a ball, and then we went right into a family vacation. It was excellent. So that was good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I remember I did talk with Jamie, and he liked the Lady Gaga one, and he had a couple others. He had a good time in the summer.
Good.
Yeah, the one reference I made was to the Lowell Folk Festival, which still happened. I just didn't get there because of a family event that happened to fall on the day I was planning to go. So, with a little bit of luck, depending on where the calendar falls, maybe I'll get to go this year.
I hope you do. I just came off the wait list for the Newport Folk Festival yesterday.
Okay. Right.
So, but it's the day of my family vacation. So I haven't broached that. So maybe my family might hear this podcast before I have a chance to talk to them. So I probably should have that conversation tonight. But we do have tickets. We just have to make a decision on how we're going to play that. But
that's where at least the Lowell Folk Festival, it's a free. I don't have to worry about the tickets. You just show up and enjoy a variety of music.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Anything on your summer plans other than all the projects?
We got young kids, so we'll probably be doing some more local adventures, maybe in just the New England area. So.
Sure. Yeah, which is all good. There's lots of good places in New England, of course.
I think getting to the water in New England in the summer is just is key. So
as opposed to a dunk tank.
yeah, that's the closest I've gotten. But we're going to expand that. We're going to expand my water options from the dunk tank.
Are you preference for lake or ocean or
ocean? I prefer ocean.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
I prefer the lake.
You do?
The ocean is so exposed.
Yeah.
I just, you can't cool off. I mean, you cool off in the water, but then you bake once you go out.
And there's no oak tree with a nice shady branch.
A nice little New England pond, with a nice little sandy beach. You can take a nice little dunk and you come back and sit in the shade and cool off. And,
I'm definitely a cabana type. Like, I don't love direct sun all day. It's not my, family members who do, not for me. Yes. Colin, you going to hit the beach?
We do, yeah. My family likes to go. We like to, again, explore the local areas and, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, maybe even get into Maine or something like that.
Some sandcastles in your future.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I ask you both, just doing a little impromptu poll, do you prefer Rhode Island beaches or Massachusetts beaches?
I was a native Rhode Islander, so I'm more familiar that way.
Yeah.
But, Mass beaches are fine.
Okay.
But,
all right.
Yeah, I think it depends on what kind of experience you're looking for, whether it's rougher water, calmer water, sand.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely good options at both, and it depends on your experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. On that nice, warm summer thought, thank you for taking time.
Thank you for having us, Steve.
Yes,
this is a pleasure. I enjoyed this. I get to learn, the people get to listen, and what's wrong with that?
Thank you. You are everywhere. You are really doing great work for our community. So I say this as a superintendent, but also as a resident who just appreciates the level. Like, I have my auto emails that come to me every day, and I get a sense of what's happening. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you remind me of things I'm supposed to know, but ultimately, I think you're such a public resource and commodity. Like, we're lucky. You're an asset to the community for the work you do, and I know that a lot of time goes into what you do. And we appreciate you, and I want to just say that on behalf of Franklin Public Schools, but my friends, my neighbors, we talk about you. You're a very well-known person. Mm-hmm. You're pretty popular in town, and it's not lost on us the amount of time that you spend for all of us.
Thank you for that. I'm glad it's appreciated, because clearly I do it. As you've heard me say, we do this because Franklin matters. We are now producing this in collaboration with Franklin TV and Franklin Public Radio. This podcast is my public service effort for Franklin, but we can't do it alone. We can always use your help. How can you help? If you can use the information that you find here, please tell your friends and neighbors. If you don't like something here, please let me know. Through this feedback loop, we can continue to make improvements. And I thank you for listening. For additional information, please visit franklinmatters.org. If you have questions or comments, you can reach me directly at suresteve@gmail.com. The music for the intro and exit was provided by Michael Clark and the group East of Shirley. The piece is titled Ernesto Mañana, copyright Michael Clark and Tin Type Tunes in 2008, and used with their permission. I hope you enjoy. By the way, you can also subscribe and listen to Franklin Matters Radio on your favorite podcast app. Search in podcasts for Franklin Matters.